Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. My name is Maudi. If you don't know me, together with my boyfriend Eric, we've made a long distance bicycle tour across the world. On this channel, Wheels to Wonder, we've documented the whole journey in vlog style videos, and we also like to give you some tips and tricks on how to start your own bicycle tour. So in one of our latest vlogs, we've asked you what are subjects that you really want us to cover. And one of the most requested ones was the topic of navigation. So I want to divide this subject in a few different topics, and that is, how did we choose our route? Why did we choose our smartphone instead of like a GPS device or paper maps? What apps did we use and how to use them? So I got some notes here on my computer to make sure that I will cover everything that I want to say. And I made a cozy little atmosphere. I hope you like that. So let's dive into the first topic. So how did we choose our route? From all the wonderful places you can go in the world, why have we chosen to go east? For us, there were a few key factors that were really important in choosing our destination. One of those was that we wanted to start from home. So the Americas back then was kind of out of the question. Another option, of course, is then to go south to Africa. But as we did only 2 small tours in the Netherlands before, Africa kind of felt like bicycle touring university, you could say. So yeah, Africa, we've decided to do that when we were a little bit more experienced. So there was actually kind of one option left, and that was to start from home and cycle east. And the east is a direction that really interests us both, so that was the most obvious choice. So the way we've designed our route is to avoid as much winter weather as possible. So we've kind of chosen to ride with the seasons. And when we got to the east of Turkey, we really got this cold, nasty weather around minus 15 degrees Celsius, snow, and yeah, just miserable. So back then we've decided to take a train south to Iran, and then Oman was our kind of hibernation destination. So why did we choose our smartphones instead of paper maps or a proper GPS device? While we think paper maps are really great and a lot of fun to look at, we think they're also a little bit inconvenient in the wind, in the rain. Also, if you really want to have detailed maps, you have to carry a lot of them. They are also quite expensive, so for this trip we just chose to take the easy route. Why didn't we choose a GPS device? Well, the GPS is actually built in your phone. The only advantage of a GPS device is that the battery life is just much better. But yeah, we just resolved that issue by just charging our phones quite often. So one of the biggest advantages of using your smartphone for navigation is that the maps that you download are mostly free of charge, and you also don't have to be connected to the internet to use them. One important thing to notice about downloading maps from the internet is that some countries weren't actually that detailed. For example, Vietnam, if I remember correctly, and also Albania. There were a lot of details missing, a lot of roads missing. And in that case, we really wished that we had like internet connection in these remote areas. That got ourselves into pretty interesting situations, and luckily we were experienced enough to get ourselves out of those situations. But yeah, it's good to have a look at the map up front so you're sure that it will provide you with enough details to get yourself through the country. Another thing is that while it doesn't happen very often, when planning a route on maps.me itself, it sometimes can lead you through very questionable routes, like for example walking trails or highways. So before you actually start riding, it's always good to scroll a little bit on the map and check your route, and perhaps you have to kind of detour a little bit to make it more easy. This is also pretty important if you're in very remote areas. Sometimes, for example in Oman, when we plotted the route on maps.me, it would just take us straight through the desert with no possibilities on the way for water or food. So always be very mindful of what you're doing and not just blindly follow the line. An important thing when choosing a smartphone on your tour is it's good to invest in a little bit of a quicker, more durable phone. We would advise you to take, for example, a waterproof phone and also a phone that can connect to the different GPS systems out there. There are quite a few, and the more systems it can connect to, the better it will find your location quickly. So now I would really like to dive deeper into how to actually use these apps. We've used two main programs. One was on our computer, that is bikemap.net, and the other one is our application on our phone, that is maps.me, a free app, really easy to use, and it has brought us all over the world. Let's go to bikemap.net. You can first create an account, but you don't have to. You can also just go to New Route and press Cycle Route Planner. Once you've done that, you can just zoom out a little bit to see where in the world you are. And then if you go to the left, you can add some destinations to create a new route. For example, from Amsterdam to Paris. And now Bikemap has created a new route for me. Here you can see the estimated cycle time, the total kilometers, the ascent and the descent. You can send it to your mobile, download the route and print the route. And if you go down here, you can even see turn-by-turn navigation. On the bottom right corner, you can see the complete height profile of this route, and if this isn't according to your liking, you can just drag and drop the route until it's your desired height profile or until it's your desired route. And you can play with this a little bit until you like what you see. You can also go to the left and press plus, and here you can just add some new destinations, for example Orléans in France. And now Bikemap again will create a new route for you. So here's the new route, and if you go to the top right corner, you click on Bikemap Basic, and here you can choose a different interface. I personally like to use Google Road Map. It is similar to Google Maps, and you can also see the English names of towns. So if I'm done with the route, I can just press Save Route. You need an account for this. And here I can just give it a name. I can even share it with friends or with strangers. And here I can add some details, like for example the difficulty of the route. I can also add some images, for example. And then just click Save Route. So if I go to my account in the top right corner and click on My Routes, I can see all the routes that I've created over the past few years. If I go back to the route, I can just go down, I can change the route, but I can also now download the route. And depending on which app you use, you can download the GPX or the KML file. And now I will just open this into my phone. First download the app on your App Store or Google Play Store and then open the app on your phone. It will ask to turn on your location, but for privacy reasons I will turn it off for now. I turn on Bluetooth and will now transfer the file from my computer to my phone. Once the file is downloaded, I click on the file and it will open automatically in maps.me. Once I press the star below, I can turn the route on and off. Now it will open the route. You can see that I still haven't downloaded this map. When I click on the three lines in the bottom right corner, I can press Download Maps, and here you can see that I'm still downloading the map of the Netherlands. When I press plus, I can download the maps of all countries here in the list. Once the map has downloaded, you can see that there's a lot more detail. I always like to turn the map in the direction that I'm going. Once you enable your GPS, you can also use turn-by-turn navigation. I personally don't like to do that because I lose oversight of where I'm going. I will extend my route in maps.me, by clicking on the endpoint and create a new route to, for example, Bordeaux. I can also add a point in between. On the bottom you can see that this route is about 500 kilometers, which you can cycle in around 30 hours and has a total height difference of only 230 meters. I can, for example, bookmark this park for my lunch break. When I want to look for some food, I will type in groceries in the search bar. Press View on Map and now I can find all supermarkets in my nearest surroundings. I will now create a route from my current destination to the supermarket. Very easy. Another example in a more remote area. When I zoom in on Barcelona province in Spain, I will first download the map while I have internet connection. You can see all these black dotted trails. Those are walking trails and mostly not very suitable for cycling. The orange roads are mostly busy highways with a lot of traffic and not fun or safe for cycling. We usually take these white roads, which are often very scenic and nice and tranquil to ride. Once I have created a route, I always zoom in on the map to see if the app hasn't plotted a route which includes walking trails or highways. This looks good. On the search bar I type in Amsterdam and I will go back to my starting point. From there I can just start cycling. Just play around with it a little bit. It's very easy. So why did we combine both of these free applications for our tour? While you definitely can get around with only Maps.me, Bikemap was a great addition to our style of route planning. Bikemap provided us with a rough direction and was really handy to get a general sense about what a route more or less would look like. A big plus of Bikemap is that you can add many places to create a route, whilst in Maps.me you can only add 3 locations at a time. Maps.me was our main tool and was most used when we were on the go. In Maps.me it was great to get more short-term information on the total kilometers, height difference and estimated hours for the day. We think the combination of these two applications is a great system to get yourself around. There are 2 other apps that I would like to mention very shortly. The first is iOverlander. People can come on this app and add a lot of points of interest, like for example a beautiful place, a camp spot, or like a place where you can find water or groceries or something in that realm. Another app that we occasionally used is Osmand Maps. We did buy the Plus variety. This came in handy in remote areas too because it has a lot more detail. You can, for example, see contour lines or like the type of vegetation. And this also came in handy in really remote areas. To really look for like a flat piece of ground to find a place to sleep. The way we mount our phones is through a simple system from Quadlock. They sell special cases for most flagship model smartphones that lock on the piece that's mounted on your bike. If you don't own a flagship model, you can also opt for the universal mount. Very easy, very sturdy, and we can totally recommend it. As for using our phone, we always made sure we had a working backup phone, so we always carried 2 smartphones in case that one of our phones would break. One of the big disadvantages of a phone is the reliability. We've saw many times that in very cold weather the battery life of one of our phones got down very quickly because they just can't stand the cold. So yeah, that's pretty scary when you're somewhere out in the wild. One big advantage I would say of using a digital route is that you can easily add extra points that interest you or kind of diverge from the route and go back to your line that you've made, and on paper maps that's just a little bit more difficult. One of the other big advantages of digital maps is that when you have internet and you download the maps of a country, they are constantly updated. So compared to if you, for example, go to a local shop and buy a map, They are maybe a few years old and a lot of the new roads are not on there. Of course, this can bring you in very interesting situations, which is also a lot of fun. But it might get to the point that you have to ask the locals, and the locals are really helpful most of the time. But what locals tend to do is point you in the easiest direction to a certain point. So they would, for example, tell you where the highway is or the carway, but not in the nice easy back roads that you're looking for. So guys, this wraps up my video about how we've navigated on our World Bicycle Tour. I really want to emphasize, just like they say in the hiking community, bike your own bike. There's just not one way of going about it. I want to encourage you to go with the thing that makes you most comfortable and secure. This is what worked for us, and I'm pretty sure that we will keep on using our smartphones for future adventures. I hope it was useful and it was fun to watch. Please let me know in the comments how you navigate on tour, and if you did enjoy it, please give it a like and subscribe. And that wraps it up. Yeah. See you in the next video. Bye bye.